At Dex's place, he tells Joss that he is in love with her. She kisses him and they quickly move to the bedroom to make love. After, they cuddle in bed. She asks if he meant what he said. Dex insists he did. She says he probably noticed she didn't say it back. He doesn't need her to, but she wants to. She admits saying those words makes her nervous. As with Cam and Oscar, neither relationship lasted. She knows she shouldn't let her past be an issue, but he says their past makes them who they are. As they discuss all they've been through together as they take a trip down memory lane through flashbacks. She tells him she doesn't want anything to come between them, not Sunny, not the feds, and not her own fears. Joss says she loves him, and he returns the sentiment. At the bank, Trina thinks Esmond will finally be charged, and Spencer will get custody of Ace. She doesn't like Victor but notes his uncle really came through for him and found evidence the PCPD missed. She wants to take it all to the PCPD right away, but Spencer stops her. He claims he doesn't want her involved, and says he'll take care of it. She asks why he's acting shady. He makes several excuses, none of which Trina buys. She demands to know what he's keeping from her, and if he doesn't fess up, she'll walk away from him. She reminds him no more lies. Spencer admits he thinks Victor falsified the evidence, and explains he offered to do so once before to help him. He feels that's why he needs to bring it in alone, without her, plus they don't know for sure the evidence is fake. Trina says if the cops discover it's not legit, then he'll go to prison, and think of what will happen to Ace. He admits she's right. Trina wants to destroy the evidence, and Spencer agrees. Just then Trina gets a text from her dad about meeting for dinner. She quickly notes it's from Taggart, and she's not ready to call Curtis dad yet. Spencer responds, "Yet?" She says they are taking things one step at a time. He tells her to get to her dad, and he'll take care of the evidence. Once alone, Spencer puts it back in the box and says, "Just in case." In Austin's office at the hospital, Ava lets Mason know her connections with the Jerome family died with her brother and father, so he needs to go see her sister Olivia in Pentonville. Mason isn't talking about the Jeromes, it's her connection to Sunny they are interested. Eva says he's crazy to think she knows anything about Sunny's business. Mason says they just need her to keep her eyes and ears open, and eventually will ask for her to complete a small task. Ava says so far she hasn't seen anything to back up his threats of this great and powerful Oz controlling everything, who could just be a hillbilly behind a curtain. Mason tells her she may not believe it, but Austin can assure her the boss exists. Austin tells Ava that she needs to hear Mason out. Ava points out Mason had something for them both to do, but all she is hearing is what she needs to do. Mason explains keeping her on task is Austin's job. Mason needs to find out anything she can from Sunny, or her bestie Minna, about his association with a company named Pikeman. Ava asks what kind of business that is. Mason says the less she knows the better, and to just keep her ears open, and go to Austin when she finds out anything. He warns Ava he's no hayseed, he knows things, like where Nicholas really is. Mason also reminds them he's not the one in charge as Austin knows, so don't try and disappear him as they did Nicholas, that will only make more problems. Mason walks out, alone. Ava hopes Austin giving Mason lip service, because there is no way she can spy on Sunny and live to tell. Austin explains Mason is just the messenger, not the person in charge. She asks who this big bad boss calling the shots is, and demands he tell her. He yells, "Stop." He quickly apologizes, but says she already knows too much, and to do what Mason has asked. At the nurse's station, Portia gets a surprise when her brother Zeke appears. She asks why he's here and why he didn't tell her that he was coming. He's in town because he's got a client in New York, and is staying at the Metro Court. He asks how things with Trina are. She says they are improving slowly, though the distance between them is killing her. She vents about her involvement with Spencer, which has now almost got her killed. Zeke calls him bad news and asks why she's with him. Portia blames herself and her lies for pushing Trina further into his arms. Portia realizes with Zeke in town he can help talk some sense into Trina. Zeke offers to help her and promises her they'll get things back on track with Trina. She's glad to have someone who is in her corner. Zeke insists he's got her back. At the Metro Court pool, Chase and BLQ dip their feet in the water after dark, share ice cream, and kiss. Tracy appears and says, "How sweet," and asks Chase to go fetch her a Singapore sling from the bar. He excuses himself to do so. Trissy asks what the hell her granddaughter is doing here when she is supposed to be her eyes and ears at Deception. BLQ says it's after hours and Maxie, Sasha, and Lucy give their employees ample time to relax. Brooklyn asks why Deception matters to her as she doesn't seem like the makeup and beauty product type. Jordan sits at the pool bar and orders a drink. She thinks about walking out on Curtis, while also looking at her engagement ring. Chase approaches the bar and asks Jordan how she's doing. She says she's doing okay, but he senses that's not the case. Chase returns to Tracy with her drink just as Brooklyn is pressing Tracy about why she is really interested in Deception. Tracy orders Chase to go down to the restaurant and get her some pate, so he excuses himself once again. Meanwhile, Zeke appears at the bar and asks Jordan if the seat next to her is taken. She says she won't be very good company. He says he'll take the chance and joins her. At Carly's, she asks Michael who else knows about the footage of Sunny. He admits he showed it to Willow, and she asked him to destroy it. Carly agrees. Michael notes this evidence gets her off the hook without her having to say anything to the feds. She asks him to think about Dex, because he'll go to jail and that will devastate Joss. Michael notes Dex will be fine. Carly realizes he knows something more, and recalls Joss told her that Dex had a plan and wouldn't be working for Sunny forever. She puts more coincidences together and realizes Dex has been working for Michael. Michael admits he has been working for him since the beginning to get evidence against Sunny. Carly asks if Joss knows. Michael says she didn't at the beginning but found out later from Dex. Carly wonders if Joss knows about the footage. Michael says she does, and the reason they were arguing is Joss wanted him to use it to save their mother. Carly again refuses to sacrifice Sunny to save herself. Michael counters, "Then do it to save your family." He says she's the glue that holds this family together, and to think about Donna, Joss, Amelia, Wiley, and him. She tells him that he's not playing fair. Michael begs her to give the footage to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Carly points out this will send Sunny to prison for life. She reminds him without Sunny, new players will step up to take over his territory, and they'll want to prove Sunny has no power to protect his family. Carly tells him to realize this will make them all targets, especially her as she knows the most about the business. Fuming, Carly reminds him they watched this play out 2 years ago, when Sunny went missing and she and Jason had to take over. She yells if Sunny goes to jail, then every single one of them will be vulnerable, and she won't let that happen. Michael sees this as the best way for her to stay out of prison. Carly cries she knows Sunny has disappointed them both, but destroying him won't heal them, and she assures him someone will die. Michael leaves the drive on the counter in case she changes her mind. He says it's encrypted, so it's safe, and he'll respect whatever decision she makes. On the next General Hospital, Laura comes to a decision. Portia asks Esma, who is in a hospital gown, if they've threatened to cut her off if she leaves town. Curtis asks Drew what his options are if turning against Sunny isn't one of them. Maxie reads a letter and thinks it seems too good to be true. Eva visits Willow and asks her if Nina is really that unforgivable. Tracy promises Brooklyn a lot is going to change and soon.